welcome to today's episode of Afro Scientific Spirituality. My name is Efe West. If this is your first time watching this channel, you are highly welcome. This is a place for us to separate the facts from the fiction, the science from the superstitions, and the concept from the misconceptions about African spirituality. Today, I am going to be talking about a very important subject, which is about the repatriation of stolen cultural and spiritual artifacts back to Africa, and the importance of these cultural artifacts. This is something that I've been bringing on the news for some time now, and it is a very serious matter. I want us to look into the importance of cultural and stolen artifacts to African people, to the indigenous people that they were taken from. This trend was facilitated during the era of colonization. This is a situation whereby colonizers, invaders, will go into a foreign land, try to overpower the people living in that place, and then they will start plundering the environment, plundering the people, stealing anything worth of value from that place, stealing resources, gold, diamonds, wealth, ivory, cultural artifacts, and even bones, dead bodies were also stolen. This level of kleptomancy was elucidated more by the Western people, by Europeans, the Europeans that came to invade Africa, to enslave Africa, and other parts of the world. During the time of Africa, before we got into the issue of these people, we have our own civilization. We are the cradle of civilization. Before we even know what is Caucasian, before Neanderthals evolved into Caucasian, African people have always been authentic African human beings. They have always been living on this planet. They have always been living in peace and harmony with the planet. There was no need for invading other people. We have more than enough. Today, it is still the continent with the largest amount of natural resources. That's enough for the whole world to go around. Till today, it is still the best continent. So, African people don't need to steal from other people. It is people that don't have things that steal it. We have a very rich, fledgling cultural civilization before we discovered this thing called Neanderthals / Caucasian. So what I'm saying here is that these Caucasian people, they came to Africa. They were like a kid in a candy store. These are people that they don't have access to so many things that we have in Africa, and they don't have their own indigenous cultural heritage. So when they came here, they came to steal us blind. So they stole so many things from us. They not only stole people, they stole resources, they stole our cultural artifacts. And this stealing was so much. In fact, we have not yet recovered from this criminality of these people. So what they do is that when they come to your country, anything of value, anything they can carry, they carry it. According to research statistics, 90 to 95% of African cultural artifacts are housed outside Africa. They are outside the continent. They are in private collectors. They are in foreign museums, especially European museums. The British Museum, it is said that it holds about 8 million pieces of items. Just one museum, British Museum, have over 8 million pieces of artifacts that are not from Europe, not native to Britain, and it have over 6,000 human remains in that one museum. Just imagine what one museum have. We have a lot of things like this. So many museums in Germany, Belgium, France, Sweden, all over Europe. They have things that don't belong to them. These things cannot add value to them apart from the fact that they use it to make money. People pay money to go and see those things. It is not really doing anything for them spiritually, because the items do not belong to them, and they cannot connect to the items spiritually. So by taking these things from the people, you are depriving them of being in possession of their personal property, and also of having a direct spiritual contact with their objects. One thing you need to know about artifacts, African artifacts, is that when a group of people come together to create these artifacts, to carve and create them, to mold them, to bring them to life, they are actually putting a part of their consciousness into that artifact. And as they create this stuff to bring it to life, they are putting their life essence inside. They are giving it veneration, adoration, worship, attention, offerings. What they are doing is that they are storing a part of their spiritual consciousness to this item, to give it power. So by making contact with it, a group of people making contact all this time in certain ritual settings, they are actually empowering these items to become something that is alive, and something that can store up spiritual knowledge of that group of people. So the more they interact with this item, the more they kind of establish a strong bond with the item. And the act of interacting with it creates these memories. It's like creating transactions. When you meet somebody, you talk to them, or when you keep using a particular object all the time, there's record of you actually interacting with these objects. And these records are saved. The records are saved in time and space. Just like, let's say I hold this pen today. It's already recorded in time that I hold this pen. Every day I use this pen, I interact with this pen. This pen becomes a part of my soul essence. This pen is now a part of my property, a part of my space, a part of my life, a part of my existence. Even after I have passed away, this pen will contain memories of me interacting with it. Okay? These memories will be in this pen until this pen is totally destroyed, until this pen no longer exists. So by me interacting with this pen, I have created a bond with the pen. In the future, people that get contact with this pen can be able to trace the energetic frequency of the memory that I have of the interaction that I have made with the pen. Okay? So from the fact that I have made contact with this pen, people can be able to know things about me, about what I did with the pen, about my lifetime with this pen. Okay? So same thing with these artifacts. As people begin to interact with them, create memories around them, give them offerings, pray to them, talk to them, venerate them, the thing becomes a living entity. It becomes like a hard drive, a spiritual hard drive that is saving the collective memory of these people that have been interacting with it over these years. So that thing is like a hard disk that is saving the collective memory of the people that have been interacting with it. So the more people that interacts with it, the more power it will have, the more memories it will have. And the older that item is, the more it means the more memory, or the larger amount of memory that items have inside them. Okay? So these artifacts can be viewed as a kind of spiritual hard drive for storing or accumulating the collective memories of the people that have been interacting with it since time immemorial. So in essence, we can say that this artifact holds a portion of the soul or the spiritual essence, knowledge, characters of those people that have it. So these things are very, very important. So when the Europeans came to Africa, they were stealing these things away. They're actually stealing a very huge portion of our ancestral memory banks. This is what they are stealing. These things are Akashic records, records of our existence, of our age, of our lifetime, of our ancestral knowledge, ancestral spirituality. These things are like batteries that has been made to save this information. So when you steal these batteries, you're stealing something from these people that these people can never get back. And when you take these things, due to the attachment that these people have with it, you have been able to break that attachment. Okay, this is exactly what happened to Africa. A lot of our cultural artifacts, over 90 to 95% of them, were stolen by Europeans. So this is the reason why many Africans have lost touch with their African spirituality, with their African connection, because those things that hold these energetic frequencies, that hold this knowledge, we no longer have contact with them, we no longer see them. So the new generations of Africans that we grow, we lack a lot of body of knowledge that have been saved in those items, that have been saved in those statues, so that we become confused, and we have the confusion today. You see Africans running everywhere over the world, behaving stupid. Many of them are not Christians and Muslims. Many of them are suffering from inferiority complex. Many of them don't even know that they are the originators of civilization. They don't even know who they are. They are not slaves to Jesus and Muhammad. In the case of Islam, Islam don't even take things to museum. Islam will just destroy the stuff so that you will never get it back. When Islam came, Islam destroyed so many stuff. The Great Pyramid was not like this. It was always covered with a smooth ceramic covering, very beautiful white ceramic covering that reflects lights. The Arabs took that covering, they used it to make mosques. They destroyed so many things. The ones they cannot destroy, they are using it to make money now. Africa have really suffered a lot. We have suffered a lot in the hands of Arabs. We have suffered a lot in the hands of Christians, and we are still suffering today. So we have this issue of these stolen artifacts that are taken from us. We have many cases of places whereby these things were taken, and the land just died. The land will stop producing crops. The people, we just lost a part of their cultural heritage, things that they were supposed to do, that they have gifts for doing, for things that they can build, technological innovations, building of stuff. When you take things like this, people lost knowledge. They lost historical knowledge that they used to have. So it is imperative that these items be brought back to Africa. This is the reason for part of the agitation for returning these items. They didn't only do this to Africa. They did this to India. They do this to Australia. In fact, everywhere these Caucasian colonizers went to, this is what they do. They steal. They steal your artifacts. They steal anything they can carry. So a lot of people are crying now. You see Indian people crying for their gods every day. You see Native Americans crying, give us our stuff back. Native American Australians, they just stole from everybody. This seems it's very painful. Now, most of this stuff are in their museums. After taking this stuff, they will be telling you that your ancestors contribute nothing to civilization. This is the most painful part. And when you go to their museums, you see stuff from Africa, from every part of the world, but you see nothing from their own land. You'll be asking, where is their own cultural artifacts? If you have your own stuff, you don't need to be stealing other people's stuff. Okay? We don't need to be stealing other African people. We are not used to stealing. It's only people that are not from Africa that we do this kind of thing. Okay? You have to take pride in your own stuff. We don't do this. We are not interested in stealing stuff from other tribes where you know that your tribe have your own artifacts. Does not make sense for us, so we don't do it. So what you find out today, a lot of our stuff are outside the continent, especially Benin bronze, a lot of stuff from Benin, a lot of stuff from Urobo. In fact, all Urobo cultural artifacts, they are in America and UK. You cannot find any Urobo artifact. We don't even have an Urobo museum in Delta State. We don't even have one Urobo museum where you can see Urobo artifacts. It is not in Delta State. It is not in Nigeria. It is all in America and UK. So I hope one day we'll get this thing back. Now there's a problem of returning all these artifacts to Africa. Some people are ready to take back, but some people are not ready. There's a problem we still have with the religion of Christianity. We have many African people that are not Christians. These so-called black Christians, they are heavily brainwashed. They see African artifacts as demonic items. This is at their level of brainwashing. They see anything about Africa as evil. So these African Christians, they are not even advocating for return. And if they return these items to people like this, they are going to destroy them. Over the years, when I was growing up as a Christian in Nigeria, I have witnessed cases of African Christians saying they are doing crusades. So that we go to a village, they will be burning African ancestral shrines, they will be burning cultural shrines, they will be cutting down sacred tree. They say that they are banishing evil, that the African spirituality is evil, that it is because of our sacred trees and sacred shrines that is not making progress come to our community. This is what the church, the Catholic Church and other Pentecostal churches are propagating in Africa even till today. They say that the reason why we are not progressing is because we have not fully give up our African spiritual practice. So what the church do is that they go to villages that they are doing crusades, convince the native people to be burning down their shrines and ancestral places. So even the one that Europe took, the little one we have here, our local Christian community have been burning them down. I have witnessed a lot of churches that have burned down ancestral shrines. We have so many criminals like this, evil people that are enemies of the continent. So imagine these people that have been able to influence lots of Africans to get them to believe that their African spirituality and culture is the source of their problem, that it should be totally destroyed. Now you want to bring the artifacts that have been taken by white people, you want to bring it back to the continent when we have a lot of this kind of people roaming around. So I am sort of afraid. That is why I don't really clamor much for returning these artifacts, because a lot of people, to be honest, especially in Nigeria, they are not ready, and a lot of Africans today, they don't even value it. They don't know the power those things contain. They don't know that these things are spiritual memory drive that they can be able to tap into and get inspiration from to empower them, improve their technology. You see countries like China, Japan, Thailand, they never play with their ancestral artifacts. They never play with it. Immediately they have children, the first thing they do is to take the young children to these shrines to show them these artifacts, because children can connect easily to this stuff. A child between the ages of 1 to 7, they are still young, they are still pure. They have not started thinking like us adults that are polluted, that we cannot connect spiritually. Children can connect easily to spiritual items. So what you see in these countries, they take their children to the shrine to allow the children to touch this status. They do it a lot in time. Children will touch it so that the child can connect with it and tap into the ancestral memory bank to draw inspiration from these items, so that the spirit will go into the child, so that the child can start doing things, can start knowing things, it can awaken the psychic senses of that child. This is how they do it. So children, is very good to connect with these items. If you have little children, take them to shrines, allow them to see these items, or you can get the pictures, print them out in your house, let them see the pictures. Just by seeing them, again, having that visual contact is even enough. So these items are items of power that have been taken from us. The funny thing now, these white people that have stolen these items, they cannot connect with them the way we can connect with them, because the items are not native to them. They are not connected to that items by blood, by DNA. So even you bring a white psychic in, it can connect a little to an extent, but it will not have the full benefits because it's not connected by blood to that item. We Africans that have that DNA that are directly connected, we can have a stronger network when we touch and when we come in contact with these items. So it's important that we make contact with these items because they store a lot of ancient memories. Okay, it's very, very important. These items should not be destroyed. These items should be preserved. So for some time, it may be a good thing. Some people argue that it's a good thing some of these items we are taking to, that the Europeans were helping us to keep it for the time that we will be ready to take it back and start using them. So some people are saying like that, other people are saying likewise, but whatever the case, these items should not be destroyed, but they should be returned when the people are ready to receive them. This is an issue we have with the cultural items now. So these items are very important, okay? They are considered as, you can consider them as memory banks of the collective memories of the African people. By making contact with these items in a spiritual setting, you can be able to see into the life of these people that have lived during that time. You can be able to see how they were living, what kind of technology they were using, the kind of way they were behaving, the kind of food. You can be able to know so many things. It's like memory banks, okay? It's also Akashic records. We can say they are Akashic records. They are records of humanity. So these items should be very well preserved. They should not be destroyed. If you have some of those items in your possession, you should keep them very well, to maintain them. Do not destroy them and don't allow anybody to take them from your possession. Okay, so these are the things you need to know about cultural artifacts. They are something that is very, very important to us, and something that we should not take for granted. It is not just piece of art. The way people are just saying that this is just an ordinary piece of art created. Many of them are not piece of art. Many of them houses spirits. There have been cases where people take these items, they find out that the items are actually speaking, the weather is changing, things are changing. Many of them are not piece of art. So you have to be careful. There are some of them that bring prosperity. Some of them have different work that they do. Some of them house different type of knowledge, different type of specifications that they do. Some of them are good for farming. Some of them are good for spiritual work. Some of them are good for destruction. Some of them are also not so good. You put some in your house, you start having misfortune. Some of them are even cursed. So these items, they have different characters. They have different work that they do. So if you are interested in this, you should be able to know. So when you come across an item, you need to find out the spirit of behind that item. Some of them bring prosperity. Some of them also bring destruction, misfortune as well. So you need to know about this. So artifacts are something that is very good. You can get some, if you can get your hands on some, you can get them, put them in your shrine. It's very, very good stuff. If you cannot get them, you can also connect with them through a picture. You can get the picture, you gum it on the wall. You can also make contact with the deities with the pictorial representation as well. Okay, so these are what they are used for, and this is my take on these things. They are not just piece of art. Think of them as spiritual memory banks that you can actually tap into to get information. You can actually plug into as a human being to connect, and you can get good results from that. So this is part of the things I teach in my inner class, how to connect with this kind of stuff, how to connect with the artifacts, and how to use them to improve your life, to bring more understanding and clarity to your life. Okay, this is the prime reason people have taken them away from Africa, to put us in a state of this disconnection, so that we'll not be able to connect, we'll not be able to take advantage of, we'll not be able to take full advantage of our African spirituality. And we are now solving all those problems by explaining all these concepts to people for greater understanding. Okay, so this is what I have for you today. Questions or comments are welcome. If you are interested in learning more about African spirituality, you can register at my website, River of Knowledge. I have a lot of stuff there, very wonderful, powerful stuff. I teach Asian history and African spirituality. You are going to learn it, and you're going to get a lot of benefit from it. Then if you are interested in knowing more about the interconnectivity between science and spirituality, I have the book on quantum physics and African spirituality. It's an e-copy. You can get the book from me as well. Then if you want to do your spell work, your X's, packs, love spell, the whole 9 yards, my number is on the screen. You can reach me on WhatsApp. So apart from that, I thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next video as usual. So take care and bye. Peace.